I'm going to show you how to write a macro to send email to a specific email address related to something that people select on your form. Here we have a basic application form here. So I've created a very basic application form here, and so let's fill this out. Let's put in Charlie Brown, and then Brown. We have an address place here, but then we have the location, and we have a drop-down list. And I'm going to select Edmonton. If you notice here, I have a table set up that we're going to use in our macro, and it has Edmonton, and Edmonton's got the only real email address on here. This is my address, and the rest of these are just made up. So let's select Edmonton from my drop-down list. So now let's go to our Developer tab, and from the Developer tab, we're going to click on the toolbox here, and we're going to click on Insert, and we're going to choose the Form Controls, and we're going to choose a button here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a button on the bottom here, and now on button click it says, we can change that later, let's record a new macro. So the first thing we have to do is we have to define some variables. Let's define path as string. And then let's define file name as string. So I'll go file name 1 as string. And then I'm going to define email address as string. And then I'm going to define Outlook application as an object. Then I'm going to define Outlook mail item as an object. And then I'm going to define my attachments as an object. We're going to set a few things here. And so what we're going to do is set Outlook app, create object with Outlook application. And the next one we're going to do is set my Outlook mail item equals Outlook app create item. And then we have to put a 0 at the end of this. And then my last one that I'm going to set is set my attachments. I want to send an email with this as an attachment. So I'm setting set my attachments equals Outlook mail item attachment. Now let's define a few things. I'm going to define my path name, and I've just created folder on my desktop, and I'm going to set the path equal to the folder on the desktop. So I say path equals C users barb desktop example is the folder, and that's what I want my path to be. And now if we go back, I'm going to set my file name to range C4. So let's go take a look at what C4 is, and C4 is the last name. So I want the file name to be, the attachment's name to be Brown. Okay. Now, so I'm going to put in file name 1 equals range C4. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to export the object, the application form itself, to one of my folders, and I'm going to save it as a PDF. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go active sheet export as fixed file format, which is a PDF, type XL, type PDF. And the file name is this path that I had before, and my desktop, or my folder on my desktop, is example, and I'm naming this as app form, application form, and then after publishing I want it to open, and that'll be true. Now the location is the drop-down list of cities that we have on our form, and that location is range E5. So I'm going to go location equals range E5 value, so whatever it says there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a range, because what we're going to do is we're going to use a vlookup. So I'm going to set my range to the cells, our emails corresponding to our locations. So my range is C5 to the rows is the 5th row to the 9th row, and the column is the 8th to the 9th. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set what my email address is. So my email address is basically discovered by using the vlookup function. And what we're going to do is we're going to go email address equals application worksheet function. So it's saying go back to the old worksheet and use the vlookup. And using the vlookup, the location is what we're looking for. My range is what we're looking. There's the table that we're looking in, and we want the second column value, and we want it to be exact match. So we'll say false at the end here. What we're going to do is we've got this all figured out. So with the Outlook mail item that we defined earlier, using a with statement with our Outlook mail item that we defined above, we'll type with. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our to, and let's put a little tab in here, and let's go dot to, and then equals, and we're going to go email address that we've defined above. And then the next one that we're going to do is we're going to do a subject, so it's going to be dot subject, and what I'm just going to put a subject line in this email is I'm just going to say your recent application. So dot subject equals recent application form. So that was something that somebody just submitted. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a body, and I'll start with dot body. It's basically just telling you please find the application form attached, and this is a carriage return, and then it just is signed best regards. What we're going to do is we're going to attach our file, and so we've defined my attachments above, and so then we're going to pull that PDF form that we've saved to our folder. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go my attachments dot add, and then it's giving the path name to where this application form is. All right, and then we're going to finish it off, we're going to go dot send. All right, and then we're going to do an end with statement. So we'll go back. All right, and then we're going to clean up our Outlook files. So what we'll do is we will set Outlook mail to nothing. And we're going to set Outlook mail to nothing, and we're going to set Outlook application to nothing just to clean this up so we don't have a problem. And then we're going to end sub. All right. So now let's run this and see what we get. So the first thing we got was our application form that was saved as a PDF. So here's our email that we've got figured out, and it's got exactly who we mailed it to. It's subject is the application form, and there's your PDF attached to the bottom here, and there's just your little body that's added. So that's how you add email to a specific result from an Excel sheet with a macro. Please subscribe.